All right, so I shot some real basic, specs and just a real basic overview of the solar setup a day or two ago. Had a lot of questions, which I understand. I had a lot of questions when I got into it as well. So this is going to be longer than a 3-minute video. I can't use my Meta glasses. My other cheapy Amazon mic is like broken. So I'm gonna run more than a 3-minute video, which is where you're capped at with the Meta sunglasses. So I'm using my AirPods for the mic. It's a little breezy out here. So until I get inside, the mic is not gonna be great, but this is what we're gonna run with. All right, so you get tax credits. The tax credits for installing solar are 25 to 30, 40, 50%. It just depends where you are. And I don't really know a lot of the details, but it's a credit. It's not a deduction. So if you owe 10,000 in income taxes or you paid 5,000 in taxes, it's a credit, like dollar for dollar of what you owe or paid. So if you get a W-2 as an employee and you paid $6,000 in, and you get a $6,000 solar tax credit, it wipes out what you paid in, or you're going to get a check back. So it's a credit. So much better than a deduction. So now I'm going to breeze through the setup. So during peak summer hours, we consume 80 to 100 kilowatt hours of power per day. My solar is about 14,000 watts, 14,500 watts. So 1,000 watts is for 1 hour is 1 kilowatt hour. And I'm just going to try to keep this as basic and breeze through this as quickly as I can. We produce about 80 to 90 kilowatt hour of power a day. So during our peak demand months, because we're running mini splits AC, we're outside more and we're busier during the warmer hours. Our production is about right on par with our consumption. Evergy, our company, gives you 1/3 of the rate back for any surplus. So any surplus that we put back into the grid, we get 1/3 the billed rate for that. So if we're billed 12 cents a kilowatt hour, they give me 4 cents of credits back if I put into the grid. So during the winter, our consumption goes down, but also our production goes down with the solar panels. So I built this system to be about even. I don't need to be giving a lot of production back. So it was built and we're right on par with about even. My bill varies from $700 to $1,400. So I'm just gonna say $1,000 a month. The $1,000 bill is gone. And that's based on 80, 90, 100 kilowatt hours of usage during summer, 60 to 70 watt kilowatt hour during the winter. We can also run the mini splits for heat instead of gas if we want to use electricity instead of paying for natural gas. All right, the solar setup. I bought 26 panels. That was a quote pallet. Pallets vary from 20 to 40 panels on signaturesolar.com. I like signaturesolar.com. You want to look to pay about 20-25 cents per watt for solar panels. The more solar panels you buy, the cheaper they are. If you buy one 400 watt panel on Amazon, it's going to be buku bucks because half of them get broken in shipping. When you buy a pallet, they don't expect that many to get broken, or maybe one. So I bought 2 pallets of 26 panels. So I bought 52 panels. I've got a bunch of panels left over. I bought the black rim panels. These are like 380 watt. These are made in Georgia, American made. Let me get on the end of the solar right here. So I ran 36 panels, and these are landscape. So they're horizontally positioned on the ground mount, and that's how it worked out for us. I like the black rim. So a pallet of 26 panels, when I bought them, was $3,000. I bought 2 pallets. I used like a pallet and a third. So whatever that breaks down to, that's what I've got in the panels. Let's say $4,000. The ground mount, the going rate for ground mounts here in my area is 25 cents a watt for material labor. So if you got 14,000, let's say a 10,000 watt setup, you're going to pay $2,500 for the ground mount. This is the ground mount. I prefer ground mount over roof mount because of serviceability, and I'm not punching holes in the roof of a $700,000 building. Roof mount is the only way to go in some cases. I understand that. I prefer ground mount. If you can do a ground mount, do a ground mount. And then we can always expand this down this way if I want more power. So I placed it to where we can expand it if we want to. All right. The other thing is run as high a voltage as you possibly can. So before we walk inside, what do we have in this? Let's say $4,000 in panels, $2,000, let's say $3,000 in the ground mount, $7,000. Panels are cheaper than batteries too if you're trying to go off grid. Okay, wiring, the higher the voltage you run, the skinnier the wire you can run. The skinnier the wire you run, the cheaper the wiring is. So there's the box. There's all the panels going into the box. We're running like 500 volts. So we've got like 2 sets of like 8-gauge wire going to the inverter. And then we use the existing screws on the building so we didn't punch any more holes in the building. Let me go inside and go over the last part of this. And hopefully you guys have a good understanding of the setup, what I spent. And still, if you got questions, let me know. And I should wrap this up here in just a couple of minutes. One moment. All right, so I'm still grid tied. I don't need batteries, but I got batteries. So during the day when I have a surplus, my power company, and most power companies are like this, they charge you additional fees during peak hours. So I dump my batteries into peak hours from 4 to 6 p.m. and I get more credits that way. Or overnight when I'm not producing, I can use batteries instead of using power and paying fees on the power that I do use. So it gets a little convoluted with when to run batteries, when not to run batteries, how big a system to get, and so on. I like the batteries as a buffer, and I can use them overnight, keeping my bill at virtually zero. So the other component to this is the inverter. I paid $5,000 for the inverter. It's an 18 kPV from EG4. EG4 is good quality, 48 volt. It's a hybrid inverter, so it can run grid tied or it can run with batteries. Or I'm running pretty hybrid here. I'm grid tied with batteries. If you don't have batteries, just get the hybrid inverter. So cost $5,000, and then we were at what was it, $7,000. So I'm at 12. And then I think we had $4,000, $5,000 in an electrician and various other costs. We've got monitors on the panels. The TGO system tells you if you've got bird poop on a panel or a panel is cracked, or you'll see it on the system. And then I paid $900 for each battery, which most people don't need batteries. So we're at 4,000 panels, 3,000 ground mount, 7, 5 for the inverter, 12, 900 for each battery if you want to count those. So let's just add another 5,000 for a good battery setup, 17,000. All right, panels, ground mount, inverter, electrician, 3,000 to 4,000 for the electrician. So I'm just going to say we spent around 20. Tax credits are 50% residential, I think 25% for commercial. And then we eliminated about $1,000 bill per month. So that's $12,000 per year. So we're paid back in 1.5 years. So, like I said, I highly recommend Signature Solar to get all the products. I get the Vatra batteries. I use these for golf carts and for the solar setups. Your solar setups are generally the 5.12 kilowatt hour batteries. So they can run 1,000 watts for 5 hours each. 5 batteries would run a smaller home, 10 batteries would run a larger home, and so on. Highly recommend 18 kPV inverter for any moderate sized house, shop, etc. We've got room left on there. We've got 14,000. This can run up to 18, and it can run up to 1,000 volts of input, which lets you run the skinnier wire. So signaturesolar.com, panels, inverters, batteries are from Amazon. So if you guys have questions, let me know. I think that covers most of what I got in the system. So there you go.